Good afternoon, Stampers. It's Debbie with Stamp It with Debbie, and today I'm here to show you 3 projects, a live demonstration of 3 projects for a brand new stamp set in the Stampin' Up! Annual Catalog called Leave a Little Sparkle. And these are the 3 projects that I'm going to show you. I have 2 3D projects and 1 card today. So let me just go ahead and get set up over on my iPad, and if you would just let me know you're here, I would appreciate it. I hope that you all are having a wonderful day. It looks like I have a little glare on my stamp set, so let me see if I can adjust the light just a little bit so that we don't have that. All right, I think we're just gonna have it. I don't think I can get the light adjusted too much so that doesn't happen, but let's see. Nope, it's just the lights are just going to be that way. So okay, so again, we're going to be live today doing 3 projects from Leave a Little Sparkle, and this is probably, I have a lot of favorites in the annual catalog, but this is one of my favorites. Most of you know that I love sparkle, and it says leave a little sparkle wherever you go. So even if I didn't like the rest of the stamp set, that one is a great greeting for me to use for lots of different things, because I do love sparkle. And I also like the word believe. It's just, I'm still messing with the light. It's just something that a word that I really like at Christmas. I think that we could use that stamp set for a holiday greeting. So I'm going to quit messing with the lights. I guess it's just going to have to glare just a little bit. So, all right. So if you're on, if you would just leave me a comment, let me know you're here. If this is your very first time visiting my live demonstration, I would like to say thank you for joining me today, and I hope that you will join us again. If you're following me on YouTube right now and you're seeing this as a replay, don't forget to stop over to my Facebook at facebook.com/stampitwithdebbie and join us in the fun we have over there. If you have joined me lots of times, I really do appreciate you coming back and leaving comments and letting me know the things that you like and that you don't like, and what I can do better. So to start out, before we start the projects, I just have a quick question for you, kind of a poll, and I guess I could do this in the Facebook group too, but you know that every week I offer the 3 projects. If you place a $30 order, I would send the make and take kits. And I guess I'm just wondering if you can leave me a comment in the comments. Would you rather have the make and take kit? Because per Stampin' Up, I cannot stamp any of the images, so you would be getting the card pieces to make your own, and then you could stamp them. Or would you prefer that I send completed projects as much as possible? Like something like this I would have to make and leave folded down and put together the top, because it can't be a stamped image that I'm sending. So part of it would have to be put together and just flattened, and you would have to glue those pieces. So just leave me a comment and let me know which you would prefer, because I'm kind of trying to make some changes, and I always appreciate your input. So let's go ahead and get started. And again, this is the stamp set. Make your dreams come true, believe, leave a little sparkle wherever you go. And I think we're going to go ahead and start with this project right here. And I wanted to use a little bit out of all of the stamp sets. So this one says, make your dreams come true. I have a little button over there to kind of help open the box. And I have a little candy bracelet in there. I used to love candy bracelets when I was a kid. It just slides right in there. So I'm going to get all of my items that I need for this project, and I'll be right back. Okay, we do have a little scoring to do, and I'm hoping this is staying in camera. All right, so what we need, whoopsie. Okay, so I have a visitor You can probably tell that my little cat is feeling better. Little Callie, you can't be in the video today. All right, we need 2 pieces at 3.5 by 5.5. If you would give me just one moment, I'm gonna try and make some room so that if my little cat jumps back up here, she's not gonna be in the video. Okay, we need 2 pieces, and I'm using Highland Heather, and they are 3.5 by 5.5. I also have just a scrap piece of Highland Heather we're gonna do some stamping on for this part. I have a piece of Whisper White, and that is cut at 3 3/8 by 1 3/8, and that's for this part here. I have these designer paper, and these are cut at 1 3/8 by 7/8, and these 2 little pieces are cut at 7/8. Whoops, I said that backwards. 7/8 by 1 3/8 and 7/8 by 3 1/4. Then I also have a little piece of silver glimmer paper, and that's cut at 3/4 of an inch by 3 1/4. And so let's go ahead and do the scoring first. I'm going to grab my scoreboard and my scoring tool. The first piece, we're going to score at 1 inch all 4 sides. And then the other piece, we are going to score at, have to get my notes so I don't tell you the wrong thing. We are going to score at 1.5 inches, 2.5 inches, 4 inches, and 5 1/8. And that's all the scoring that we need to do here. Now for the piece that's going to form the box, you do need your paper snips. And if you remember, I always try to teach, here's the score line. I try to go to the right of the score line because I'm going to cut a little triangle out of that. And then I'm also going to cut a little triangle out of this corner. So I'm going to do the same over here. And then I'm going to turn it around and do the same thing here. Put those pieces out of the way here. Now I just need my bone folder. And I'm going to burnish on all the sides just so we have a good fold when we make our box. And now one thing that I did not do on the other one, but then I thought, oh, it would be kind of fun. So I'm going to do it on this one. I'm going to take this little star. You can see it's a couple little stars. And I need a little piece of scrap paper. I decided it would be kind of fun to stamp stars on the inside, just so when the candy bracelet is gone, there's just a little fun feature inside. And we don't really need to stamp outside because that's going to be covered by our designer paper. So I'm using Gorgeous Grape. Whoops, that one got a little smudgy, but that'll be okay. Gorgeous Grape ink, and again, Highland Heather ink. Highland Heather designer cardstock. Jeez, oh Pete's. It's a day today. Okay, so I am going to put a little adhesive. Now you could use liquid adhesive or the tear and tape. And one thing that I decided that I wanted to do on this is I do want to put, and probably liquid adhesive would work just as well on this, but I'm going to put a little piece of tear and tape right here because when I put my box all together, I don't want that part of the box kind of, how do I want to say, like sliding out because it doesn't have a good secure catch to the rest of them. So that was one thing I decided when I just put that on the wrong side, you guys. I'm having a day. I'm having a day here. Okay. The adhesive is off. I actually need to fold those flaps down. I should have known when I was stamping on my, or putting adhesive on my stamped side. Okay, so now I have adhesive on all 4 of these little tabs. I'm just going to pull this tear and tape the plastic off this one and just bring this side together, and then I'm going to do the same with this side, and then I'll pull the tear and tape off here. And I'm just making sure that my edges are nice and lined up. So I think that that looks a little cuter, just having a little bit of sparkle on the inside. And I'm just going to put my little candy necklace right in there. And so now we can set that aside just for a minute till we get the rest of the stuff done. We have a little more stamping to do. On this one, I'm actually going to stamp Leave a Little Sparkle. And again, I'm using that with the gorgeous grape ink, just a little bit darker than the Highland Heather. It shows up a little bit better. And then I do want to stamp a few little stars on this too, sparkles. So I'm just going to do that before I punch it out here. And then I'm going to be using the Pretty Label Punch. It's this one here. Kind of looks like a cloud to me. And I'm just going to punch that right out. And we will use that punch again on one of the other projects here. So now we have this piece. And for the glimmer paper, if you haven't seen it before, this is my tip on cutting a banner. Just cut right up the, let me turn it over so you can see it. So I cut right up the center, just a little bit. And then I'm going to cut from each corner up to that center. And it gives you a perfect banner every time. So again, cut in the center, just up a little snip, however big you want your banner. And now we have a perfect banner. We can go ahead and put adhesive on the back of this. Now, glimmer paper does usually require a pretty strong adhesive, so just keep that in mind when you're putting this together. You don't want your project to fall apart. I'm just gonna use my bone folder and burnish that on there a little bit. Now you can see that I have this little piece of ribbon right here, and that is the Bermuda Bay, and it is the mini striped ribbon. So I'm just going to cut a teeny piece, kind of cut it at an angle. I'm hoping that the size I cut it is going to be perfect for there. And then flip it over into sides. So I'm going to have it come out this side, so I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive on here. I'm going to take my piece of ribbon and kind of fold it in half. And then lay it down, and then just turn it over and see what it looks like. If you need to adjust it a little bit, you can adjust it. And so that part's done. I am gonna put a little glue dot in there just to make sure that that piece of ribbon that's up on the top isn't gonna go anywhere. It should stay stuck, but just in case. So there's a little glue dot in there. And while I have it over, I'm just gonna go ahead and put my dimensionals on the back here, and then I'm going to set this piece aside. And hopefully I don't stick it to anything and forget. Okay, now this is the lid part, so we want to just take our bone folder and burnish all the edges. We have a good fold all the way around. And then this is the little teeny flap. We want to put tear and tape right here on this edge so that we make sure our box is going to stay together. And I'm going to take that off. And then what I'm going to do is take my box, I'm going to flip this piece up and kind of wrap it around. Now remember, this is the side that has our tear and tape, so we want to be careful not to get that on anything. I'm going to take this little, hopefully you can see this little teeny flap here, make sure it's all lined up, and then just bring it together. So now our box is ready to go. I am going to get my little 1/2-inch punch, and I want to just punch through here so that that gives me, I probably should have done it before I put the candies in there. And I will tell you, it's a little tricky with 3 layers, but I'm just doing like a little half circle so that when someone is pulling that out, they'll be able to pull it out easily. So while we have this out real quick, I'm going to put these little pieces on the end. I didn't want to have to punch through 4 layers. That's why I didn't put the designer paper on yet. So we'll put this piece on both ends. Make sure it's on there very well. And then we can just use the punch to see that extra piece on there, and we can cut that off too. And so now we have our little tab. We can put our candy back in there. And then this piece is ready to slide on. And now we have a little more stamping to do. So on this white piece here, let me get my piece of scrap paper again. We're going to do this little swirly, and I'm going to use Coastal Cabana. And I just, because you can't really see what goes on in the middle, so I kind of did one like that, and then another one down, and then I wanted to be able to see one on this side too. So there's that. And that's just the little swirl. I think the swirl would be great for, actually for Christmas, if you wanted to have some blowing snow or something. All right, so this piece is ready to go right on top. And now we can adhere these 2 pieces here. And again, those are 1 3/8 by 7/8 wide. I'm sorry, I'm getting you guys so confused. 7/8 by 3 1/4. Sorry, the other ones are the smaller ones. You just want it to be normally 1/8 of an inch in. And I just wanted to see a little bit of the purple on all 4 sides. So now you can see, we can see that. My seam where I brought it together is on the bottom. And so here, this is our box now. And remember, I put the dimensionals on this piece already. So now I can just stick that right on there. And it's all ready to go and give to somebody special, or use as a party favor for a little girl, or for someone else that just likes some sparkle. So that's our first project, and I hope that you like it. Let me go ahead and get our second project. This one has a special treat inside. Let me grab the paper for this. All right, what we're going to need for this one is a piece, and today I'm using Melon Mambo, and this is cut at 5 inches by 11 inches. And we also need a piece of designer paper, and this is in the 6x6 stacks, and I'm using the Brights collection, Melon Mambo, and this is cut at 4 3/4 by 2 3/4. I just have a scrap piece of white that I'm going to stamp this Leave a Little Sparkle. And then I have the Stitch Nested Labels dies, and this is the largest one, and I cut this in Whisper White, and then I cut this one in Highland Heather. And I cut about 1.5 inches off the end, and that's going to be this piece here. And then we are going to need a little piece of ribbon. We're going to use the Gorgeous Grape mini striped ribbon, and we're going to put that right here at the top. All right, let's get out our scoreboard because we have a little bit of scoring to do. And now this one right here, I wanted to score kind of in the middle. Hopefully that's centered for you. And this is about 4 3/4. So I kind of eyeballed it because, I'll show you, the other part is tucked down inside of there. So I wanted to have a little bit bigger piece for stamping the unicorn on. So I'm going to go to about 2 1/4 and 2 1/2. And what this does is just gives us enough little room at the top so that our bag doesn't bulge. And then we don't need to score the purple one because that one's just going on the bottom here, but we do need to score this piece here. And we're going to score at 5. This is on the long end, the 11-inch end, and on 6. And then we're going to turn it, and we're going to score at 1, and then we're going to score at 4. And that's it for our scoring. So once again, we do need our paper snips. We're going to snip this part in the center here and just cut that little angle out. Same thing with the other side. And while I'm holding this up, I hope that you all are having a great week. It's been pretty hot here in Michigan. I know it's been hot in a lot of places, and I think that I read that we have a heat advisory. And I think some other places already have heat advisories, but we are supposed to for this weekend. So stay safe and stay cool and find something cool to do so that even if it's staying in the air conditioning and crafting all weekend. Okay, once again, you're going to want to use a strong adhesive, probably tear and tape or a liquid adhesive. For saving a little time, I'm just going to use, I've probably said this before, but this is a product that Stampin' Up! Used to have, and I have a lot of it left, so I'm just trying to use it. It's a really great adhesive, but they don't sell it anymore. It's called Fast Fuse. And so that's what you'll see me using. So this is not snail. I don't want you to think I'm telling you to use one thing and I'm using something else. This is a very strong adhesive. So you're also going to want to use, as I said, either tear and tape or a liquid adhesive on this end here. And you want to get it really close to this edge so that your edge is not coming open when people are handling your box. So I put adhesive here, and if you would prefer, you can do this side and then you can do this side. I'm just going to bring this up and hook my tab right in. Let me see if I can do that without getting adhesive all over. So all I'm doing is taking this tab here, bringing it over to make sure that it's even, and securing that little tab inside. So if you were using liquid adhesive, you could just hold it for a minute. Now I need to attach this side here to make my box. So I'm going to bring it right over and just kind of go inside. If you need to, when you're done, you could take your bone folder and just secure it that way. And sometimes I like to bend that outside tab back so I can see the score line to know that I'm exactly lined up. And then just bring it over. And again, you can use your bone folder. So now, because we put adhesive along that very edge right there, the box won't kind of pull away at all. So what we need to do next is go ahead and put our designer paper on the front. And then once that's done, we want to, I'm taking my finger and kind of just poking it in there and squeezing it. I'm not going to squeeze the whole box, just at the top. So I'm going to go to the other side and kind of force the middle in, squeeze it, and you can even use your bone folder to secure that if you want to. Okay, and now next, because I've already scored this, I'm going to take the side that's just a little bit bigger. Let me get my scrap paper so we have a little bit of stamping to do here. And some coloring. So I'm going to ink up my beautiful unicorn. And I'm going to keep it below this score line here. And that part's done. And while I'm stamping, I'm going to let that dry just a minute. I'm going to put my greeting on here. And again, I'm going to just leave a little sparkle. And I'm using the Melon Mambo there. And then, once again, my pretty label punch. And just punch that piece out. Now if we wanted to, we could put some stars on there. But on this one, I decided that I felt like this purple piece needed something. So I'm actually going to, this time, take that little star again. This one here. And I'm just going to stamp a couple stars on this piece. Just to dress it up and give it a little more texture. I like texture on my cards. So hopefully that will be enough texture to change it up just a little bit. All right, now we just need to do a little bit of coloring. So I have my Stampin' Blends markers. And this one I'm going to color the hair light purple posy. And I'll try to hurry so you don't have to watch me color very slowly. I love the Stampin' Blends markers. I've said that a lot of times to you. They just blend so well. And actually earlier I made a little bit of kind of unicorn hair on a project, and I'll share that with you. Leave a picture for you. I made the hair purple, and then I added a little bit of Pool Party down towards the end, just so it kind of looked like unicorn hair. I'm going to take my dark purple posy, and I just want to add a few little, not really highlights, but to give it a little texture and dimension. So I'm just kind of leaving some of the light spots and some of the dark. And while I have this one out, I'm going to color this here. And then I'm using dark Pineapple Punch for the center of the flowers. It's a pretty bright color. I realized I missed a little strand of hair here. And then I'm using light Lovely lipstick. It's a really nice bright pink. For the petals of the flowers. And that's all the coloring I'm going to do. But I am going to show you something else. I don't know if this is the right time, but we'll do it. So Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell this anymore. It's a two-way glue pen, so you could use any two-way or a light coating of glue. I'm going to put some sparkle on this unicorn. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue around. And then I'm going to use the Dazzling Diamonds glitter. And put that right on there, and then just maybe, hopefully, tap it back in. Look how sparkly that is. I hope that you can see it. It's so beautiful. And now I'm going to have glitter everywhere. That's okay. We all need a little sparkle, huh? Okay, so we can start assembling this. Now I'm going to fold on the score lines. There's 2 of them, as I told you. And this piece right here is going to attach on the part with the unicorn right back here. And then when it comes onto the card, it just hangs down a little bit and gives a little more color and extends the front of the card a little bit. So I'm going to turn that over. And just attach that right on. Now, this part here is going to attach in here. So you're going to want to put adhesive on the back part. So just go ahead and lay the stitched, lay the framelit out, put it on this back part, and then you're just going to slide it into the box. And I like to put it just outside of that score mark so that when it's folding, it folds a little bit easier. And then you also want to try to center it up on these 2. I might not have centered that up too well, but that's okay. Yeah, looks like I'm off just a little. I don't think I can get it out. So that's just one thing. Be sure and try to center up between these 2. I got it off this side a little bit, but that's okay. So here's my box. Now, what we're going to put inside. Well, first of all, let me put the ribbon on, because we want to put that on before we seal up the box here. So I'm just going to use a little piece of, again, the Gorgeous Grape. It's the mini striped ribbon, and it comes in Gorgeous Grape and Bermuda Bay. And I'm just going to tie a little knot here. And I want to cut the ends off so they look pretty. All right, and then to be prepared, this piece here, I'm going to put a couple dimensionals on, 1 on each side, and then 1 down here. And I'll go ahead and take those off. I'm not going to put it on quite yet, so I'll set it aside. So when I'm at the store, my brain doesn't look at stuff the same as other people's, and I'm always looking to see what can I create that has something to do with some of my stamps. And I looked for something unicorn, looked and looked and looked, and I did see at my grocery store, actually Kraft has some unicorn marshmallows. You know how they have like the little colored ones, and these ones are shaped, but I couldn't really tell they were unicorns. And so yesterday I was at the store and I found this unicorn poop. So you knew that I had to get this. Now, when we put them in our treats, we don't have to tell people it's unicorn poop. It can just be unicorn marshmallows, but I have that kind of sense of humor that I think that's hilarious. So I probably would give this to my kids as a gift and tell them it's unicorn poop. So this is what it looks like, but they could just be unicorn marshmallows if you would prefer, or you can get the Kraft ones. So this is just going to go, I put this in one of our little cello bags. It's going to fit down inside. Do you guys think that's funny, unicorn poop, or are you one of those people that you don't like the word poop? Because I know some people just really don't like that word. Leave me a heart emoji if you like this, because it's unicorn poop. I personally, like I said, I think it's funny. So now I'm going to take this piece that has the 3 dimensionals, and I want to make sure not to get it on this at all, because it will actually seal our box closed. But we want it here high enough so it'll hold this little tab. That's what's holding our box closed. And then all we have to do is pinch it, tuck it back in there, and there's our box with some little unicorn poop. So what do you think? Do you think the stars made it look a lot better? I really like it with the stars on it better. And if you wanted to, you could, before you put this together, stamp some more stars here and Melon Mambo just to spruce it up a little bit. So that is project number 2. I hope you're liking these. I love, love, love the kind of whimsical stamp sets that Stampin' Up's coming up with. I like all the pretty ones, the flowers and different things, but every once in a while I like something a little bit different. This is project number 3, and I did use a different stamp set with this because I wanted to be able to have a really pretty card for a birthday girl. So let me get the supplies for our last project. I just saw in my comments, my friend Cheryl Spitzley said she absolutely would say unicorn poop. So Cheryl, when I see you next time, I'm going to bring you some unicorn poop. All right, for this project here, we need a piece of Coastal Cabana, one of my very, very favorite colors, and that is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. We need a piece of Whisper White, cut at 4 by 5 1/4. A piece of that 6 by 6 stack. This is in Coastal Cabana, and this is 2 inches by 5 1/4. Then I used the stitched framelits. This is the largest oval, but if you didn't have those, you could just find an oval in your layering ovals to coordinate with that. And this one is cut in Coastal Cabana also, and it's just a little enough big enough that it gives a nice frame. And then I have this piece here, and this is cut at 3/4 of an inch, and I did cut it to 4 inches. It's probably going to be a little bit long, but that's okay. Okay, so we can take this piece here, and then we're going to set that aside for just a minute. We need to do a little stamping, and I realized that I need to clean my little star stamp because I had stamped that in Gorgeous Grape, and we're going to stamp it in Coastal Cabana this time. Now we're just going to take that star and just randomly stamp all over this. You can make as little as you want, as many. Don't worry about it being perfect. You're going to have that strip there in the middle, this one. So it's going to cover some of them. So you do want some of them to go a little bit off the edge. That's probably good. All right, now I'm going to leave this ink out because I'm going to be using it again. Now this piece can be put directly onto our card here, our card front. Just leave an 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. And then this piece here can go ahead and go on. And that's going to just line up with the edges of the white. So now we need to stamp our unicorn for this one. And again, Memento ink. And I'm just going to stamp that right in the center. There we go. And I think I'll stamp my happy birthday, and that is from a stamp set called Beautiful Bouquet. And I don't know if you've seen it. This is not a brand new one. It's from the previous year catalog, but it has lots of great greetings. Has happy birthday, thank you, or sorry, thanks a bunch, happy wedding day, congratulations, happy anniversary. So it kind of hits all of the major celebrations there. So I'm using happy birthday, and I'm going to ink that up here. I'm going to stamp it right side up, I hope, and straight. Okay, there we go. And then I do need my paper snips because I'm going to cut a little banner in the end of this one. All right, so now we're ready to color our beautiful unicorn. And for this one, I used Dark Pool Party to color. the unicorn hair. So this here is light Bermuda Bay. And I'm just going to color the horn that color. And again, I'm just going to use the same pineapple punch for the center of the flowers and lovely lipstick for the petals. This is a great bright pink. Not quite Melon Mambo, but it matches Melon Mambo really well. And then I'm going to use Pool Party to color the hair in. Trying to color quickly here, so I'll be a little bit out of the lines, but it's okay. It's a unicorn. All right, I see one little spot that I went out of the line, so I'm going to grab my color corrector. Now, I will talk about this a little bit later, but for right now, I want to tell you that this actually isn't an eraser, even though it kind of seems like it is. What the color corrector does is pushes the ink back into the other area. So that's really what it did there. Now, I do want to put glitter on this one, but I think I'm going to do it after I attach it. That way I don't have to try to hold on to it. And I'm going to go ahead and put my dimensionals on the back. I like a lot of dimensionals. That way the piece you're popping up doesn't smush down when it's going in the mail. All right, so there's that piece. Now all I need to do is get my two-way glue. I probably should have not have taken those off of there, but that's okay. We'll make it work. Now I'm going to be sticking to everything because I took the backing off the dimensional. So I just used a little bit of my two-way glue pen. I'm going to come back in with, I'll use this piece of paper, my Dazzling Diamonds. And look, there's a dimensional back in there. So now we have some glimmer on the unicorn. We don't want to quite put that down yet because I need to put down the birthday banner. I'm going to just set this aside and hope it doesn't end up on the floor. And so this piece, we need to kind of eyeball it because we want it to peek out a little from the back. So I'm going to put some adhesive on there. And then I'm using the, wherever they are, the Noble Peacock Rhinestones. I think I showed these to you already. They're so beautiful. And I'm going to use the purple ones. And just add a few here on the end. And so that gives it a little more sparkle. And now we can add our little unicorn here that says happy birthday. Now for those of you that like something on the inside, we can also stamp something on the inside. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm just actually going to stamp a few little stars down here. And maybe a few, whoops, up here in this corner. And then if we wanted to, we could stamp the word believe in here, or we could still do happy birthday, leave a little sparkle wherever you go. You could choose what you wanted to put on the inside, but this is just a little bit to spice it up on the inside a little. And then I'll put that on the inside of the card. And then this card is done. So that's all 3 projects. I hope that you liked them today and that they were fun and kind of different projects for you, and that you enjoyed the 3D. Again, if you place at least a $30 order, and don't forget to leave me a comment if you came in late. I'm just kind of looking for an opinion, because typically I advertise that if you place a $30 order, I'll send you the make and take kits for free. But I've had some people voice a concern to me that what if I don't have the stamp set? So now I'm considering sending the completed projects. I cannot send the stamped pieces per Stampin' Up! Policy, but I could send the completed projects to you. So let me know which you prefer as a stamper. Even if you're not ordering today, just leave me a comment and let me know which you would prefer as a stamper to get in the mail. Just the make and take pieces, and then you can stamp your own image on them, or if you would rather have the completed projects. So for this week, if you place an order through my online store, I will send you either the completed projects or the make and take kit per your request, if you place at least a $30 order over on my store at stampitwithdebbie.stampinup.net. Again, if you're following me right now on YouTube and you're catching the replay, come on over and find us on Facebook at facebook.com/stampitwithdebbie. And I would like to thank everyone from my Facebook group who is joining me today. And I will see you again right back here on Wednesday with another demonstration of 3 fun projects for you. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your week. Be safe.